In this video we're playing on the shortest map in the game, Blons, which is only accessible through the challenge editor. This map was originally accessible by clicking the random button until a challenge on this hidden map was generated in update 24.0, and after beating it you could then select the map in custom challenges. Later in update 24.2 on April Fool's Day, the map was made accessible to everyone in the challenge editor by default. This map is of course the shortest one by far, and in this video we're going to see how far we can push this map on easy mode, building a jam-packed setup around this little corner. I've seen several comments from a while back wanting to see a video on this map, so here it is. We will begin the game with some cheap towers by the corner as we work on getting a farm going. For a cheap start I think attack and a wall of fire will do pretty well, and I placed down a Dora as well. Then I will get started on what will eventually become a perma-spike at the end of the track. We will also make use of the changes made to the Monkiopolis in the recent update 37. Sacrificing just one farm to it will still give you a significant income, so we will have this Monkiopolis until we eventually get a larger one later. In the bottom right we get started on a boat farm. Two of the boats will eventually become our Pirate Lord and carrier flagship so we can create the Navarch Paragon, but the rest will be for farming. And we also place a sub there that will be our energizer for shorter cooldowns. In anticipation of round 63, I got a Ring of Fire, cross-pathed with the extra range upgrade that gives more pierce, and then shortly after that we got the perma-spike. And now our farming is growing quite big, and it's pretty funny how extremely large you can make the Monkiopolis on this map, and we ended up getting one that gives over 5k per crate it spits out. As our farming continues, you will see me getting 10 bottom path farms, and this is to boost the income from our boats, since their income counts as pops towards the Paragon. In the mid 80s we are cruising, our farm is big and all is good, but now we need to start focusing more on farming pops for the Paragons. We will get the Flying Fortress and the Grand Sabo in the top right, and for the other towers that we want farming pops, we first need to create our sun temples around the corner so that we don't end up sacrificing our pop farming towers later on. By now you may have noticed that I made the projectile smaller. This will be the first actual game where I make use of the new settings feature to reduce clutter. At the moment I have it reduced to 50%, and later in the game I will reduce it further down to 10% and then all the way down to 0% just to try things out. We got an ultra boost to start giving stacks right away, as we have a lot of towers that we want to buff. And now we're going to get the first few temples down so we can place our pop farming towers around the corner. It's pretty hard to see the towers in the corner due to the HP being displayed there, but I have a perma-charged boomerang in the very top left corner so that once we make it into a Paragon, its orbiting glyphs will follow along the track. We also have a top path ninja, an XXXL trap, a bottom path dart and a top path wizard, and the space around the track will soon be filled with even more pop farming towers. This is one of those rare occasions where the middle path cross path will be better for the ice debuffs. If you don't remember, we tested which cross path was best for the super brittle on logs a long time ago, and the range was way better than the attack speed. Which is something that I did not expect if I recall correctly, but the range is often the better option, but not on this map of course. Here the range will be more than enough as is, so more attack speed will be a lot better. And now we're building some more temples. We will have one support temple that will cover everything right here in the center. Remember that we have Adora for this challenge, so her blood sacrifice ability, used when having the long arm of light ability active, will give more range to every single temple on the map so that they will all be able to reach the track. We get a lot of overclocks in the bottom right that we will use on the pop farming towers to help them compete for the pops against all the sun temples, while we continue to use the ultra boost on all the temples and Adora. And soon we will fly the permabrew around to buff everything now that we are done placing down our temples. As I was farming pops, I was placing down some towers on the outskirts of the map, and I noticed something funny going on with the Ray of Doom. When you change the size of the projectiles, if you lower it just a bit, the ray disappears completely, like magic. From here, what we need to do is continue to use the overclocks on the pop farming towers until about round 200. Here I got the degree 76 Master Builder, and then after that we got the degree 76 Ninja Paragon, which in the recent update gained the Grand Sabo ability permanently. So now, after getting the Paragon, we don't need to get the Grand Sabo, and we now have the ability for 100% uptime. Next we got the Doom ship, also to degree 76. When you upgrade into Paragons with the reduced projectile and particle size thing active, it does look kinda weird. Next I got the degree 76 Glaive Dominus, and now we cleared up some space for the Plasma Monkey fan club to speed things up for the Dart Monkey. On round 214 we get the degree 79 Apex Plasma Master, and then we can start doing the same thing for the Wizard, placing down a lot of top path wizards around the track to speed things up. And by round 221 we got our degree 76 Wizard Paragon. Now the only Paragon that remains is the Nav Arc, and we won't be able to get this one to degree 76 due to a lack of space, but we did get it to degree 71, which is good enough. And now we will fill the map with some tier 5 towers, sun avatars, snipers, and then buff everything with the permabrew. A few rounds later, this is what we ended up with. The lag is very strong, so as usual I will speed up most of the gameplay so it doesn't look as much like a slideshow. Since this is in the challenge editor, that meant no tech bots, so all abilities had to be activated manually, not just the blood sacrifice, which was quite annoying. So a few hours later, this setup was still going strong. While this map is the shortest, it is not the hardest. Maps like Bloody Puddles, Ouch and alike are much harder due to the multiple tracks. Meanwhile, this map only has one track, no site blockers and a lot of space to build, so it's actually not that hard. And eventually we actually beat all 300 rounds, which to be honest I didn't really expect. And here is me showing the pop counts of a couple of interesting towers. It was kind of sad to not see exactly how far this would have gone, but probably somewhere around 350 rounds I would guess. But that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I will see you next time.